calculated. So, a sampling distribution of a sample means is a distribution using the means computed from all possible random samples of a specific size taken from a population. Okay? Specific size taken from a population. So, meron na tayong samples dito. Okay? Kaya nga siya, sampling distribution of sample means, while we have the sampling error wherein it is the difference between the sample measure and the corresponding population measure due to the fact that the sample is not a perfect representation of the population. Okay? So, if the probability, if we have the basic rules in probability, we have also this one, the properties. And also in the standard normal distribution, we have also the different properties. So, meron din tayo dito. Okay? So, when it comes to the properties of the distribution of the sample means, yan, the mean of the sample means will be the same as the population mean. Yan. The standard deviation of the sample will be smaller than the standard deviation of the population. Take note of that. And it will be equal to the population standard deviation divided by the square root of the sample size. So, as we have stated, we have two properties of a distribution of a sample means. How do we interpret that into equation or into a formula? So the central limit theorem, we have this. As the sample size n increases without limit, the shape of the distribution of the sample means taken with replacement from a population with the mean, yan, we have the mean, and the standard deviation will approach a normal distribution. Normal distribution. Okay. So, gagamitin pa rin natin yung standard natin sa normal distribution. Okay? Okay, this distribution will have a mean and a standard deviation. Ito. Yan. Okay, in summary, if all possible sizes n are taken with replacement from the same population, the mean of the sample means denote as, yan, the mean of the mean, yan, it is equal to the population mean, and the standard deviation of the sample mean is equal to the standard deviation over the number of population. Okay. Hence, ito na po yung magiging formula natin, general formula natin. The standard deviation of the sample mean now is also called the standard error of the mean. Okay? So, madaming property ang sampling class. So, the third property, kung meron tayong dalawa kanina, of the sampling distribution of the sample means it pertains to the shape of the distribution and explained by the central limit theorem. So, paano natin yan iintindihan? Okay? Take note, we have a given here problem wherein it is stated that the hours the children watch television. Okay? So, E.C. Nelson reported that children between the ages 2 and 5 watch an average of 25 hours of television per week. Assume that the variable, yan, we always assume that the variable is normally distributed as is stated in the problem. And the standard deviation is 3 hours. We have now the standard deviation. I give it sa atin, the standard deviation which is 3. Yan. Dark pala yung color. So we have now the, yes, and 20 children between ages 2 and 5 are randomly selected. So find the probability that the mean of the number of hours they have watched the television will be greater than 26.3. Okay. Paano natin yan makukuha? Since given sa problem that the variable is approximately normally distributed, yung distribution ng sample mean natin will be approximately normal. Given yung mean natin sa problem, ito, average of 25 hours. Ayan, hindi nakikita. Average of 25 hours. So this is now the mean. We have the mean of 25. Ayan. So ano yung gagawin natin? Take note, the standard deviation of the sample mean now is, take a look at this. Ayan. We have now here the standard deviation of the sample mean. The standard deviation is given. And 20, ano yung 20? That is the population. Balikan niyo. That is 20 children. That is now your N. N is equal to 30. Okay? So we have now this one. Ano po yung gagawin natin dyan, ma'am? Yes. Ano po yung 0.671? Okay. The distribution of the mean is shown with the appropriate area. So, hindi pa natin to alam. Alam na natin na given yung mean natin. Hey, this is the average. This is the mean. Yeah. This is the value of the yung x natin, 26.3. Ito. Kasi ang tanong sa atin, the value will be greater than 26.3. Okay, so tama naman. Alam natin yung mean is 25. Pinapahanap sa problem is greater than 26.3. So the shaded portion now is on the right part of the 26.3. So, paano natin makukuha yung appropriate shaded area? We will now, again, use the general formula in z value in finding the z value. Okay? So, the z value now is this one. The problem indicates that is greater than 26.3, the children, 26.3 hours. Okay? The mean given in the problem is 25. And if we have now the standard deviation of the sample means, this is the standard deviation of the sample means. We have the standard deviation divided by the number of the population. The square root of the number of population. Okay. So we have 3, the standard deviation, divided by now by the n. Okay. So this is now the z value, the 1.94. Balik ka ulit doon sa table. Sige nga, naalala niyo pa yung table natin? Anong table siya? Table ano? Sa appendix niyo. In your book. Hindi na alam? Comment down. We have now the table. Anong table yun, class? Sa blue man, sa appendix nyo. Table ano? Para makita nyo tong 1.94. Table E, question mark. Okay. So, pupunta ulit kayo doon sa Z, cumulative Z value. So, positive siya. We have 1.9. Pababa. Hanapin nyo yung pababa. And the papunta dito, the 0.04. Okay. 0.04. So, ang makukuha nyong value doon, pag nag-meet yan na dalawa, is ilan? This is now your value. Ayan na. Ma'am, bakit may 1 minus ano? 1 minus that value. Because in the problem, pinapakuha sa atin is to the right of that. Saan na yung po? This is the given x or the value in the problem. So, ang nakikita nyo sa table, ulitin ko lang sa mga hindi pa nakalimutan. Ang nakukuha nyo sa cumulative z value nyo doon sa table A is the shaded portion of that to the left. So, ito class, ito. To the left of that normal distribution. Ayan, nakasobra na naman. So, from here to that point, ayan. Yan yung makukuha mo. And we all know that the area of the normal distribution, the assumption is always equal to 1. Okay? So, kaya magma-minus tayo because ang pinapahanap sa atin is to the left side or sabi dun sa problem is stated as to greater than. Okay? So, mas malaki daw sa 26.3. 26.3 greater than. So, mas malaki pa sa 26.3. So, ito yung pinapahanap sa atin. So, that is to the, ano yun, class? This is now yung pinapahanap sa atin. The area to the right. Kaya mag-minus tayo ng 1. Okay? So, in finding the z value, yan. I mean, the area to the right of that is equal to 0.262 or 2.62%. So, we now conclude that the probability of obtaining a sample mean larger than 26.3 hours now is 2.60. Okay. 2.62%. So, take note that the probability that is greater than, ayan, yung value natin is greater than 26.3 is equal to 2 point, in percentage that is expressed in 2.62. Ayan. So, yan. Ang tanong mo, ma'am, kailan ba tayo magagamit ng my population? So, sa sample problem class, sa sample problem, pinakita is 20. But in general equation or in general use, we always use the standard deviation, basic. Ma'am, bakit ma'am may over n? This is both used to gain information. Yan. Dito class, if we have an individual data value, while here, when we apply the central limit theorem about a sample mean, and when the variable is normally distributed, or when the sample size is 30 or more. Okay? So, ito na class yung palagi niyang isa sa ulo. Pag 30 or more, we make use of this. But in the examples, ang nakita niyo is 20 lang. Okay? 20, but it pertains to the property of a distribution of a sample mean. So, babalikan niyo yung properties niya, kaya nagpo-fall siya dito. Okay? We continue with distribution. Okay. So, how do we find the normal approximation to the binomial distribution? Okay. We make use the correction for continuity. Okay. This is a correction employed when a continuous distribution is used to approximate a discrete distribution. Okay. When finding class a binomial, So, pinaghalo na to, class. We have now the discrete distribution and binomial distribution. Okay? So, when we are asked to find the value of a certain x, ayan, which is equal to a, ito po yung gagamitin. General formula to, class. You can take this. Open notes naman. So, we can use of this. Bakit? Tuturo ko yan mamaya. So, we have the a minus 0.5 is greater than or less than that x is less than that a plus 0.5. And when we have the when we are asked to find the probability of a certain value which is greater than or equal to the a, ito na yung gagamitin natin. We make use of this formula. Okay? The x is greater than a minus 0.5. And pag greater than, class, pag greater than lang is ipa-plus natin siya. Pag less than or greater than, ipa-plus din natin siya. But the value now is less than. And also, pag less than, the a now is 8 minus 5. So, ito, hindi nyo pa ito maintindihan. But take note, this general formula is, yun yung gagamitin natin when solving the given problem, specifically to a normal a normal approximation to the binomial distribution. Okay? So, for all cases, we all know that, babalikan nyo to, class, sa discrete to, class, the NP, the number of success, diba? And the standard deviation, NPQ, failure, okay? So, eto, class, gagamitin mo daw to when the M times P is greater than or less than 5, or yung NQ natin is greater than, bakit ano sinabi ko? Greater than or equal to 5. Okay? Yan. So, how do we use this? So, this is now the step-by-step procedure in finding the normal approximation to the binomial distribution. First, we check the normal distribution or the normal approximation that can be used. We always find the mean and the standard deviation using the discrete distribution, yung NPQ natin, class, or the NP. So, write the problem in probability notation. Ano yung notation natin? Ito, class, yung notation natin. Ito yung gagamitin mong notation. After that, we rewrite the problem by using the continuity correction factor, and we show the corresponding area under the normal distribution. We will find the corresponding z values, and we will find now the solution. Okay. To furtherly understand this, we have now an example of that. Okay. So, reading while driving. Okay. Ano yung pinakauna natin? A magazine reporter reported that 6% of American drivers read the newspaper while driving. If 300 drivers drivers are selected at random, find the probability that exactly 25 say they read the newspaper while driving. Okay. Since in the problem, the probability of success that American drivers read the newspaper is 6%, so that is now your success. And the failure of that is 0.94. Paano nakuha? That is 1 minus the success that was stated in the problem. And we have the number or the population or the sample, which is 300. So we need to check first whether it is a normal approximation or it falls under the normal approximation. Okay. Sabi ko nga, the NP is greater than or less than 5, and the NQ is greater than or less than 5. So you check, we multiply first the number of the sample, 300, times the success that is stated in the probability of success, wherein it was stated in the problem, which is 0.06, so we have 18. So the NP is greater than 5, so this satisfies the condition. To check the another condition, the NQ, or the sample, 300, and the failure is 0.24, so we compute for that, we have 282. So this also satisfies the given and how do you call this? Sinabi ko na kanina. So nagsasatisfy sa mga given conditions natin. So the NQ and the NP is greater than or equal to 5. Okay? So the normal distribution can be used. So proceed na tayo. Step 1, step 2. So we need to find now the mean and the standard deviation using the discrete distribution. Discrete class yung pinakauna natin. In finding the mean, we make use of the NP. Just multiply, we have 18. That is now the mean. After that, finding the standard deviation, we have the square root of NPQ. Okay? Square root, wag kakalimutan yung square root kasi pag hinis naka-square, that is now a variance. So the square root of that, we have the sample of 300 times 0.06. That is the P. That is the success. Babalikan nyo to dun sa discrete probability distribution natin. Times the Q, we have the 0.94. Yan na. So we have now the square root of 16.92. So we have now the standard deviation at 4.7. And number 3, step 3, we will write now the notation, probability notation. Okay. X is equal to 25. Why? Because it says that exactly 25. So that is equal to 25. So ano yung gagamitin natin? We will rewrite the notation into a continuity correction factor. Okay, babalikan nyo sa table. This is the example in the problem. So the probability, that is exactly 25. So, ito yung condition natin. But we will make use of this probability notation or correction factor, which is this one. So, ibig sabihin, dalawang properties ang kukunin natin when the problems ask for a exactly or equal to that of the x. Okay? After that, we rewrite. Okay. So, we have now, this is A class. P, ganito ba class yung notation natin? P is equal to X, which is equal to A. And dun sa notation natin, the A sa table of correction, continuity correction factor, A minus 0.05 is less than X is less than 25 plus 0.5. So, this is your A. Yan. So, minus na yan class, we make use now of 24.5. Ito na yung hahanapin natin. The probability of 24.5, or the value 24.5 is less than the x is less than 25.5. Okay. We need to show this to a corresponding area under the normal distribution curve. Bakit we have now limits in the normal distribution line? Ayan. So we make use of that value, the 24.5 and the 25.5. We all know, pinapahanap nilang is the exactly 25. 25. Ayan. 25. So, after that, we make use of this 24.5 and 25.5. So, ito yung hahanapin natin, the shaded part of that. Paano ma'am? Yung z-value natin. Yes, we will find the z-value since 25 represents any value between 24.5 and 25.5. We will find now both z-values. Kung kanina isa lang, ngayon dalawa na. Okay. The first, we have the higher, the z1 is 25.5. Ayan. Kasi mas higher yung value niya. Ano yung ginawa niya? Z is equal to, anong formula yung ginamit niya? What do you think, class? May standard deviation na tayong na-compute. Ayan. Generally, yung gagamitin na natin is this one. Have now the value of that minus the mean over the standard deviation. Okay. Yung mean tsaka standard deviation, ito na siya class, 18 and 41, 4.11. So, tama. We have 18 and 4.11. The 25.5 is the first boundary or the corresponding value. Okay, 25.5. So, we have 1.82. As well as to the 24.5, papalitan nyo lang yung value natin dyan. So, we have 1.58. Pero hindi pa to yung area dyan, class. You will go again to the table A. Go to table A. Ayan. Table E. You will go there and find the area corresponding to these points, 1.82 and 1.58. Ayan. Since to the area to the left of Z, 1.82 is 0.9656. Okay, babalikan nyo to doon sa table E. Okay, ito ang value niya doon sa table natin. E is 0.9656. And the area to the left tayo ha, palagi, is 0.9429. Yan. But since pinapahanap sa atin is yung shaded part, so from here, nakuha natin sa table is from here. Una is yung 25.5 dito, andyan, and yung pangalawa hanggang dito lang. Okay. Anong gagawin natin para makuha yung shaded part? We need to find the difference of that. Okay. So the area between the two z values now is you have to find the difference between that two z value, the area of the two z value. Okay. Hanapin niyo yun using the table. You find the difference. And this is what is asked in the problem. Okay, so 2.27 now is the solution or the answer for that question. So the probability that exactly 25 people read the newspaper while driving is 2.27%. 27%. Okay? Kasi kung isa lang yung kukunin natin, hindi naman sinabi sa problem pag exactly. Diba? Kadalasan sinasabi is greater than or less than. But how about exactly? Pag exactly na class, sa gitna na siya, exactly 25, we will make use of the 0.5 to its left and 0.5 to its right. Para magkaroon tayo ng boundary. Para makuha natin yung shaded part of that shaded area or the portion wherein the exactly 25 will fall. Okay? So, we will use the probability notation after that using the continuity correction factor. So, makukuha na natin yung value natin. Okay? So this is just the first example for that. We make use of this equation. Sabi ko nga, ito yung sa example. Sa iba, madali-dali lang. Yan, greater than or less than. So, madali lang to class. Directly makukuha mo na to. Kung pinapahanap sa atin directly 25, I mean in number 2, if the problem is stated is the probability of that hindi na exactly that is greater than or equal to that 25. 25. So, ang gagamitin na natin dito is the probability of x greater than, what is your A? 25 point minus 0.5. So, ang gagamitin mo dito if the condition is like this, kukunin lang natin yung probability na yung x natin ang fall under greater than 24.5. So, yun lang class. Yan yung papalitan natin. But, if we have now the A value, I will the computed rotation, pupunta ka din ulit sa Z value. And kung ito yung problem in state ko is the problem number 2, that the x is greater than or equal to 25. So, ang gagamitin na natin is the probability of, oh my God, of getting that x. Ito na class yung gagamitin. Kasi sa notation, yung x natin is greater than 24.5, di ba? The continuity correction factor, which is 24.5. So, ito na yung gagamitin natin. 24.5. Since pinapahanap is greater than, ang gagawin mo na, what is the value of 24.5? Ano question value ng 24.5 natin? Yung area. Ito, yung table niya. Yung z values niya is 158. But yung area niya is 0.90. We have now 0.94. 94, 20, 29. So, ang pinapahanap sa atin is greater than of that. Since this is na, no? Ito yung x natin, 24. Plus ha, example tong iba. 24 point. Okay, take note. If the problem falls that your P is greater than or equal to 25. So, ito yung notation natin. So, kung 24.5, yan, hindi nakita yung 24. So, ang kukunin natin is greater than. So, ito. Okay. Minus mo lang 1 minus of this. Ilan yung magiging sagot mo. So, yun na yung magiging percent natin. So, 94.29, we have 0.71, 94, we have 5. So, ang makukuha mo dyan is 5.71%. So, yun yung magiging sagot mo kung ang tanong sa'yo dyan is greater than or equal to 20. Yan. So, mag-iiba-iba class yan. Kaya, dapat isulat nyo tong notation natin, this one. Okay? Open notes naman kaya. Kung ang problem number 2 natin, ang nakuha natin is 5.71%. Yan. So, yun yung magiging sagot natin. Here, minus. Kasi minus siya. Diba, 24.5 yung sagot natin. So, that is another example of that. Okay? So, huwag kakalimutan yung sa binomial discretion. By the discrete distribution natin, yung mean natin, we just need to multiply the number of population or the sample that was selected times the P. What is P? That is the failure, the success of that event to happen. In this example, the magazine, in this example, it was stated that 6% of the American drivers can read the newspaper well read. So this is now the statistics. That is the probability of success, that 6%. In 100 people, so 6 doon ang nagbabasa ng newspaper. Okay? Okay. Yan. So we have now this one. And this is now the general formula in the continuous and joint probability distribution. So ito lang naman kasi yung basic natin. Yung z-value, kung paano gagamit ng table, cumulative natin, excuse me. And we have also the specific value, specific data value. Ito din class. So this was just derived here. Pinakauna nating formula, we have the sample means, the standard error of mean. Ayan, pag pinahanap sa'yo yung standard error of mean, we can make use of also of the z-value wherein it falls under central limit theorem. So, dadagdagan natin siya ng number of population or the sample. And basically, babalikan mo yung sa binomial distribution natin ng pagkuha ng mean, the mean, and the standard deviation. Okay? So, given sa'yo lahat, we have the mean and the standard deviation, the NPQ. Okay? So, this is now the continuous and joint probability distribution. Ito lang naman, class. Mahihirapan lang kayo dun sa hindi mo naman yung isa sa ulo, yung notation natin, the continuity correction factor. So, from that binomial, given and binomial, when we are trying to ask exactly of a certain probability in a given problem, given sa atin yung mga mean, the number of population, the P or the success in an event to happen, you need to compute for the failure of that event. So, papasok dito si binomial distribution. Okay? May question pa ba ka? So, open notes naman lahat. Okay? So, open notes lahat po sa aking examination. Ayan. Okay. Dito tayo. Stop presenting. Okay, so that is the continuous probability distribution. So, may mga question pa ba, class? Questions? Ayan, madilim tayo dito. Ayan. Okay, if you don't have any questions at the moment, alam ko wala pa naman. Kasi wala pa naman problem solving. Okay, so, can I request everyone to open their camera? Okay? Hindi naman masyado magigpit si ma'am sa engineering data analysis. Okay. Ayan, fresh. Ayan. Okay, congratulate yung mga ate and kuyas nyo class sa pagpasa nila sa board exam. In the next years, kayo naman yung congratulate ko. Okay. Huwag lang nga lang susuko kung hindi kayo nakapasa sa unang take. Pero try your best. Okay? At first, try your best. Okay? Wala namang masama dyan. Okay? Pero itry nyo din muna pumasa sa EDA. Magpapas naman kayo lahat. Okay? Wala namang problema yan. Okay? So, paisa-isa muna. Tapos dito muna tayo sa kayang ma-reach. Sabi nga, paisa-isa. Alam ko naman may future kayo doon. Magiging engineer kayo in the future. So, pakonti-konti. Dito muna tayo sa step 1. Pasa muna lahat ng subjects. Second year. After that, third year, fourth year, and fifth year. Okay? Anyways, naka-open na ba lahat? Okay. Okay, can I request everyone to open their camera and smile? 1, 2, 3, smile. Ayan. Okay na. Basta sa Friday, dapat malalaman ko kung sino yung anong oras kayo mag-exam ha? Sa Engineering Data Analysis and ano ba yun ang isa? Thermo
Ma'am,
2.
question po.
Opo.
Ano yan?
Ano?
Pag Thursday, di ba may Thursday tayo sa thermo?
Opo.
Lesson na agad tayo niyan or
Hindi
pwede
pa
namin i-allot sa exam?
Pwede naman. Kaya nga, kayo na mag-usap. Basta, available ako next week, whole week.
Nagtatanong ma'am kung pwede daw Sabado.
Wag Sabado. Wala akong pasok Sabado. Maalanganin tayo pag Sabado.